Hi, this is Amir with the US stock highlights here on Share Talk for Friday, the 29th of January. And looking at a lot of these Reddit stocks, I think the market will never be quite the same again. It's a bit like a post-COVID world, post-Reddit world for the stock market. And I suppose if people take a position in a stock where there's a lot of shorts in the market and decide never to get out or not to get out or take a profit, then it's going to be tough for a stock to go down. So you have a one-way market. In case of AMC Entertainment, you can see that we were in the middle of the range of the recent past of this week, $20 at the top, and notional support there at that May resistance line just below $10. So probably the easiest thing here is to wait to see whether you can get a dip towards the $10 level. Obviously, on occasion, the platforms are actually down. You can't even trade the stocks. And quite a few of the stocks that I'm going to looking at today, you can't actually trade, or you can only trade intermittently, which obviously makes things rather more exciting. But at least with AMC above 10, looking for 20 over the near term, i.e. the next 2 to 4 weeks. On to a stock which is not quite so high profile, but may end up being so. Amsite. Here we've actually temporarily hit the top of the rising trend channel drawn previously from the last quarter of last year. Current situation is that we're looking for support to come in at former resistance. That was the late September peak, so call that around the $6.65 level. And while there's no end of day close back up below that, we're looking for a retest of $9. If we break $9, then the next target, hopefully by the end of next month, would be towards $13, which is that November resistance line projection on the daily chart. But the bull argument in force while we hold above around the $6.65, $6.70 level on an end of day close basis. Stock which has been soaring of late is Atea Pharmaceuticals. Here a beautiful rising trend channel from the end of October, beginning of November. The breakout through $60, which was the initial January resistance, $59.46 to be precise. And while there's no end of day close back below that, we regard this as being a bullish situation with a potential $100 target by the end of next month. Tighter stop loss, I suppose, at this stage is around the area of the floor of this rising trend channel. So call that $63. That's about the tightest that one could have, apart from looking at intraday support, which obviously we're not looking at the moment. On to another stock which is part of the great bullish sequence that we have at the moment. Catb Pharmaceuticals. Here we had this spike through the 200-day moving average and through post-September resistance. Current situation is that we're looking for an end-of-day close back above the 200-day moving average at $4.95 in order to allow us to have a retest of today's $7.97 resistance and an eventual target towards $10 by the end of next month, all things being equal, or the same momentum being maintained. At this stage, only back below that initial December resistance at $3.25, really delaying the upside scenario for this situation, in which we have one of the biggest bear traps and one of the biggest gap reversals, island gap reversals that one could wish to see. Moving along to a stock which is also rather active at the moment, Sell-Sci Group. A bit of consolidation here. The support, I suppose, of today has been around the $18.68 level. So above that on an end-of-day close basis, we're looking for a retest of this week's peak at $40.91. If we do go back below the intraday low of today at, in fact, I correct myself, at $21.54, then it would be the sub-20 area and that $18.68 that I mentioned. Yesterday's support as the area to go long on, but hopefully the shares will remain above the 2150 area before unleashing a new leg to the upside. So reasonable risk reward there. Onto a stock which is less familiar, Edry. I think maybe the first time we've looked at it, and rather more straightforward in terms of the price action, breaking out of this rising triangle. And while we're above the top of the triangle and that resistance line there from March last year, at $7.30, well, call it $7.40, we could hit the top of the rising trend channel from the beginning of last year, currently pointing to a target as high as $16. that would be seen ideally by the end of next month, and maybe much sooner, given the way that this stock can move. Clearly, we already had a spike towards $12 earlier in today's session. On to the big names at the moment. The biggest name when you can trade it is GameStop Corporation. Here we are in consolidation mode, not surprisingly, given the way the on-off nature of the trading. And current situation is that we found support, I suppose, around yesterday's opening level, around $265. While there's no end of day close back below that, then we could at least hit the best levels or retest the best levels of this month to date at $483. Big target here, if we're lucky and not stopped by the authorities, is up to $600, which is the top of a rising December trend channel. So above around the 250 to 260 area, still we've got the chance of $600 for GameStop. Another stock which was rather quiet when I first started looking at it a few weeks back is Koss Corporation. Here we've got well, I suppose a broken resistance line there from back in November. That's around $47. So above that, we've got the bull argument in place and a potential retest of this week's $127 resistance. In terms of tightening up the stop loss, I suppose today's intraday low at $53 on an end of day close basis is about the tightest you could manage in this kind of market. Great news as far as the next company is concerned with its vaccine situation. Nvax gapping higher as you'd expect, and current situation is that we've managed to gap through previous resistance there from August last year at $189, and while there's no end of day close back below that, we've got the potential of a $350 target over the next 2 to 3 months, which is a line of resistance from February last year, and looking as a risk reward situation, looking relatively attractive despite the big moves that we've seen. Any dips towards, I suppose, the 200-day or the $200 mark, currently regarded as a long opportunity on a technical basis. Next up, a stock which is also looking, well, it's probably more of the traditional type of chart and price action here. Cup and handle reversal, maybe call it a W-shaped cup and handle reversal. The initial resistance for January was around the $7.35 level, and above that on an end of day close basis, looking towards a February resistance line, or late January 2020 resistance line projection as high as $13. So a pretty good setup there for Nam Thai. Just a few more stocks to go. SOS, which is a stock which I have looked at before, SOS Limited. Here we've broken a line of resistance from the end of June. That's around the $2.40 level, while there's no end of day close back below that, looking for $4.25 plus, which is the top of a rising trend channel from January last year. And that could be seen as soon as the end of next month. On to another stock which is making waves at the moment, Sino Global Shipping. Again, a more traditional type of stock, which hasn't gone completely mad yet. Here we've got the old neckline resistance of $4.89. Above that, we're looking hopefully towards a March resistance line projection as high as $11 as soon as the end of March this year. So pretty good risk reward there above the $4.89 level, looking towards the $11 area over the next 6 to 8 weeks, let's say. Just a couple of stocks to go now, and first one is Vxrt, where you can see that we've broken initial January resistance around the $10.70 level. Above that on an end of day close basis, looking towards a big picture target, 2 to 3 month target as high as $30, which is a February resistance line projection. Obviously rather ambitious, but in the current markets, that is the kind of thing that we could see relatively easily. On to the final stock of the day, which has appeared quite regularly of late, Universal Security Instruments. Here you can see that we've got the broken neckline resistance, initial January resistance at $6.18, and at least while we're above today's intraday support at $7.99, looking towards a retest of the top of the October price channel at $20. Incidentally, we already hit that rather ambitious target, so it would be a retest of that area over the next month or two while we hold above the $7.50 area, and especially while we hold above that initial January resistance. That's it for me today. Join me again on Monday.